Dude,
Woo!
you fired up or what?
I am fired up. Super
How
fired
could you
up.
not? How could you not get fired up with that theme song? Come on.
I know. I actually told my wife when I got that clip, we were organizing this show and I got that clip. I showed it to my wife and I said, from now on, when I walk in the house, I want you to play this. Woo! Here we are. Hello,
for whatever reason, I feel like you're not joking.
No, I'm actually pretty serious. I got a bit of an ego problem, but hey, that's neither here nor there. Everybody, thank you for joining. If you're watching on LinkedIn, if you're watching on YouTube or Twitter, we should be live everywhere so everybody can see us make some actual live ice cold calls today, right? That's going to be the focus of the show. I'm your host, Kevin Hopp. This show is called Hop on Calls. It's powered by none other than Kixie. What is Kixie? Kixie is a brand that might be a little new to the B2B space. A lot of people right now might be saying, Kixie, never heard of them. Well, Kixie actually is a full-on cloud-based telephony provider that has an incredible feature set when it comes to outbound B2B sales. We're going to be using the Power Dialer today to reach out to multiple people at one time, and we'll just get into conversations with whoever is ready to talk first. Kixie's super easy to use. We're going to be dropping a link for you to try it for free in the comments, so feel free to check that out. Colin, are we ready to get started? Oh, by the way, did I introduce you? This is Colin Mitchell, everybody. Colin, who are you?
Thanks for that awesome intro there. I'm pumped, man. I'm actually going to be making calls to your list for your services. Boom. I've never done that before. Whoa. It's a new script. I'm going to let you kick us off here. And then at some point, I'm going to jump in and run this script that I'm running live for the first time ever for a service that I normally do not sell. So it should get interesting. At the very least, we might have some good bloopers. We definitely will most likely be booking some meetings here, but ultimately the main goal is just to have fun and have some good conversations.
That's right. We're going to have fun. We're going to have good conversations. So as everybody might know, if you don't know, I'm a huge fan of process structure and strategy when it comes to outbound calling. So what you're seeing right here is putting the rubber to the road. This is putting the pen to the paper. This is the final step of actually a journey, a whole structured process that I put together to put a lead list in front of Colin and myself with a structured script, an entire process behind it. But let's put the rubber to the road and see if we can't have some good conversations. I'm going to come over here on my other screen and press go so that everybody knows you're not going to be able to hear the audio from the other person for compliance reasons and a bunch of stuff. But good news, there is a Hop on Calls podcast launching next week where you're going to be able to hear the other side of the audio. Tune into that. Check it out. It'll be everywhere that podcasts can be found, Spotify, Apple, etc. Let's dive right into it. We ready, Colin? I'm up first. And we're off. Dialing multiple lines at once. Let's see who picks up.
That anticipation for the first pickup is always like, come on.
Hey, Brian, how you doing? Kevin with Hopp Consulting here. Hey, Brian, my name's Kevin Hopp. I know I'm calling a bit out of the blue here. Did I catch you with a minute to have a quick conversation? Yeah. I we never met before. I run my own small company called Hopp Consulting Group. I work exclusively with B2B SaaS companies to help them build a really strong outbound calling culture. Brian, I wanted to call and see if we could have a quick conversation about that. Do you have a minute? Oh, totally. Awesome. Brian, when you mentioned that when you mentioned that you're all set, does that mean you have an outbound calling team today that is crushing it? And oh, I love that. Well, Brian, congratulations on having an awesome, high-performing SDR team. Love to hear that. I'll let you go. Have a great rest of your day, Brian. Boom. Okay. So that was a CEO, founder of a tech company. Colin, you want to know what he said? Which one of the things that I don't hear very often, but this is a really good learning moment for the show. He said, I've talked to guys like you, and guys like you, right? What does that mean? I don't know. But
Mm.
he's talked to guys like me before, and we can't come close to the production that his team already has. So, okay, little bit cocky, a little bit braggadocious, but at the same time, one of the huge tenets of outbound sales that I'm really bullish on, that I talk about a lot in my online course as well, is the idea that you only set meetings with people that you have a real business problem or valuable solution for. Like, you've identified a business problem, or they really want the valuable solution you've talked about. Brian says his SDR team kills it. I can't help him there, right? If your SDR team is absolutely crushing on the phones, why would you set a meeting with someone to help you with phone sales?
You wouldn't. You wouldn't. Now, I would have been curious to find out, like, Brian, what are guys like me? I'm curious. Can you elaborate? Because he may have thought that you're like some outbound, outsourced SDR shop, which is maybe why he said that, right?
Yeah,
I don't care how braggadocious Brian is. There's probably always room for some improvement,
for
but
sure.
but he came at you hot. So
That's right.
I
He
mean,
did. And that's why, if someone's coming at you hot and they're telling you, hey, I know kind of what you're calling about, and I don't want to talk about this, and I feel like I have it all covered. That doesn't mean I can never sell to Brian, by the way. I'm going to call him back in 90 days. We'll circle back on that one.
Yeah, he didn't get, because he might have said his team is crushing it, which is the equivalent of somebody saying not interested, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes people will tell you things just to brush you off, get you off the phone. So if you hear the same thing multiple times, then Brian maybe actually is really crushing it with his team.
Yeah, totally possible. Totally possible. Do you wanna hit go on your side and see if you can't get a connect?
Sure.
Where do you want me to go next? Up to you.
I'll get clicked in here. I'll make some dials. Should I go with Kevin? This is Kevin. All right, nah.
No, say Colin. Come on.
All right.
I want to be yourself. That's important.
All right.
Very important.
Getting clicked in here.
Ooh, Aubrey hopping in the chat with a little bit of smack talking. Too much chit chat, not enough booking. Aubrey's all about that action, folks. All about that action. I totally agree. Colin, are you having technical difficulties? You want me to hit next, or are we waiting?
I'm dialing.
Hell
Just
yeah.
making sure I had the right list here. It's going to take me a little while to get comfortable with this script, but let's go.
You're not new to cold calling, are you?
No, new to this script.
A few calls in your time, right? So one of the things I talk about in my online course and things I teach anybody, right, is the idea that a script is just helping us get from point A to point B. We shouldn't open up a call by reading the script word for word. It's much more like a handrail. I don't know if everybody can see this, but it's a handrail, right? So a handrail going up a set of stairs is how you should think of your script. The first few times you go up a set of stairs, especially the first time you see stairs, sometimes they look all glossy and you're like, yo, I'm gonna go slow here, right? Everyone out there who's ever had socks on running up hardwood floor stairs knows that you can slip and fall at any time. So you grab the handrail. So Colin's going to lean on the handrail a little bit here with his script so that he knows what he's supposed to say next. But the better you get, the more you know what's going to happen in the call, because you've done this before, you've talked to people like this before, boom, boom, boom. The less we want to stick word to word to the script, and it needs to just become a talk track. It needs to become the way we talk, right? And if you can train your brain using the script becomes less and less important, but it's always good to have it there, right? I'm a guy who's made 500,000 cold calls, and I've got a script. I have my script every single time I call. Every single time.
You're gonna have to dial. I'm having some trouble with my list.
No worries. Just like that, one click. I'm dialing. It's live. It's rolling on my side. It is rolling.
I'm gonna grab a new list while you're dialing here. Hey, Tom, this is Colin over at Hopp Consulting. I know I'm calling you a bit out of the blue. Do you have like half a minute and I can tell you exactly why I'm calling? Apparently, he did not.
Whoops. Did Tom, that guy just hung up on you straight away?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to hit go or are you next?
I'm dialing.
All right. So part of the game, folks, let's talk about this for a second. It's really important to acknowledge that not every person is going to pick up right when you call them. So that's why tools like Kixie are so important to allow you to be super productive. Because if you call one by one, which I know probably a lot of folks who are tuning in right now actually do call one by one, I feel you. Before I saw the light, which is technology, I used to call one by one as well. And what I found is that my ears would sort of hurt from all the ringing that went on throughout the day, right? As I'm calling. So tools like Kixie allow you to call multiple people at once, which gets you to the first person to pick up as soon as possible. And we all know time is money. So we want to get into the conversations as fast as we can.
Yeah, it actually blows my mind how many sales organizations do not set up their teams for success. Hey, Jonathan, this is Colin over at Hopp Consulting. I know we've actually never spoken before, but do you have like half a minute and I can tell you exactly why I'm calling you? Yeah, so what we do is we work with B2B SaaS companies and anybody really in the B2B space, helping them establish a strong calling culture inside their sales organization by leveraging structure, process, and technology. I'm curious, does your sales organization have a strong calling culture? Got it. Are you looking to build a sales team anytime soon? That's something we can help with as well. I hear you. All right. Well, hey, thanks for your time. Have a good rest of the day.
So when you said you hear him, what were we hearing there?
I was just trying to build a little rapport. He is like, I don't like dealing with other people's problems when I question him about building a sales team. So, yeah, he's just like got one salesperson and that's it. So, just not interested. Anyway,
Okay.
you want me to keep ripping, or you want to hop in here?
I'm up next.
I know you're getting anxious.
I got the hot hand.
All right, we'll pass the ball for each time we get a conversation.
I'm cool with that. I am dialing right now on my side.
Yeah. So what I was saying is it actually blows my mind how many sales organizations don't set up their salespeople with a proper tech stack to actually enable them to be successful. It doesn't cost a ton. Like, you're already investing a lot of time, money in hiring people, and why not give them the tools that they need to be successful? It's ridiculous.
Hey, is this Fred? Oh no. I thought Fred picked up. He did not pick up.
All right, we'll let you keep the ball. We'll let you keep the ball for now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that. Okay, so I'm on to the next one here. So to that point, the dialing thing, there is a culture thing, right? So if everyone listen, you're hearing the script. The script is saying calling culture. So calling culture is actually the idea of like smile and dial. Hey, is this Amin? Amin, how you doing? Kevin with Hopp Consulting Group here. It sounds like you're in the car. Did I catch you with a minute to have a conversation, or are you hands free, or are you driving with your knees right now? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the reason I was reaching out to you specifically, I work with B2B SaaS companies to help them establish a strong outbound calling culture inside of their sales organization, mostly by leveraging structure, process, and of course technology. I mean, I didn't know. Does your sales organization, do you guys make outbound calls today? Yeah. What's a good time for you tomorrow? Why don't we put something on the calendar tentatively here? Does that work for you? Okay. I'm gonna send you an email. Is that it's amin@plago.com? Okay, so I'm gonna send you a calendar invite. We'll have a high-level conversation tomorrow. I think it'll be 12 Central. Does that work for you? Awesome. Amin, looking forward to it. Look out for an email from Kevin@hoppconsultinggroup.com. Cheers. Let's go.
Did she
It's
just
that
commit,
easy.
Did she just commit to a meeting?
Amin just committed to the meeting. Yeah. That's a CEO of a technology company. He said, "Yes, this is something I want to talk about. I'm driving right now." So there's a few lessons. Let's talk about this. So that was a meeting set. Cool. Let's spike the football.
I love the hand. Are you hands free or are you driving with your knee? Like that's just a really quick way to like say, hey, I'm not gonna like throw up and pitch at you if you're not like in a good place to have a conversation. And it also gives them an out. Like, hey, I could say no, right? And so by them feeling like they have the option of like saying no, they're more open to talking, and you just booked that meeting in a short period of time while he was driving. Seemed like it was relevant to him. The way you delivered that, like called out that he was in the car, most people just ignore that. They do nothing. They're just like,
Right.
oh, they picked up the phone. They've been manually dialing from their cell phone, and they, have dialed 100 times, and they finally got somebody who actually picked up, and they're not going to like just let that person off the hook because they're in the car.
Well, so one of the big mistakes, right? So one of the things that I always advise people to guard against is this idea of the false negative. Okay. A false positive is when something says that it's good when it's actually bad. A false negative is when something you think is bad is actually good. Okay. So a false negative would be jumping right into your pitch while he's driving. And then as he hears you going and going, what's he going to say, Colin? What's he going to say? He's going to stop you.
Not interested.
I'm not interested.
Not interested.
Say that. And is he really not interested, or is he driving right now? And
he's not interested in having a conversation right now because he's busy.
That's right. Knowing the difference between I'm not interested in talking about the business challenges that you exist to solve that I may or may not have, and I'm not interested because I can't talk right now. That's huge. And the day that I figured that out, man, my outbound calling career changed for the better.
But this comes up in a lot of cases. This comes up not just when somebody's in the car driving. It comes up when, you literally catch somebody when they just came out of a crappy meeting, or they just are literally having a bad day. And it's like, right, you're interrupting them. You're calling them. They weren't expecting you to call. They're not in the headspace to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. You just get the not interested. And so knowing the difference between like brushing off versus like legitimately they don't have a problem I can solve is really important.
Yep. And this comes back to something that I'm really bullish on, which is cold calling is about conversations. Now it sounds silly. Oh, of course you're calling. It's about conversations. Well, there's a lot of gurus out there that pitch the idea that when you're cold calling, you're just trying to like pitch your stuff and get someone to say yes and commit as fast as possible. I teach a very opposite method, right? I teach a method that's about having a business conversation. Now, I would not call this the most qualified meeting on planet. Let's be honest, right? The CEO's founder was driving, was busy, and I asked him if we could schedule a time, and he said yes. We nailed down a time, but I don't have any business problems that he's talked about. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know a lot of things about him, but look.
But it sounds like he's interested in building a calling culture. So
that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Colin, you want to hit go? Let's have some calls. Let's hop on some calls.
Where's my guide rails? AKA my script.
Have the script. It's important. That is important. Wow.
How often do you change your script?
I am not a huge fan of changing scripts, to be honest, right?
Hey, John, this is Colin over at Hopp Consulting. I know I'm a bit of an interruption here, but do you have like half a minute and I can tell you exactly why I'm reaching out to you? Yeah, we work directly with B2B SaaS companies, helping them establish a strong calling culture inside their sales organization. Got it. Do you have a sales team? Got it.
Like I did not have a sales team.
Did not have a sales team. No problem to solve.
But is he looking to build a sales team? Does he want to build a culture of people
Yeah.
going out and talking to people about what he does?
I don't know. There was two problems with that. I have him as SaaS company. He said he's not a SaaS company and he doesn't have a sales team. So he was not interested in having a conversation.
Look, happens to the best of us. You want me to hit go?
Yeah, go.
Awesome. I dispositioned that last call. I put all the notes in. I hit save and go, and we are on. I am dialing. Counted for my meeting. It's good as time of any to talk about the fact that this is a long-term partnership I have with Kixie, everybody. We're going to be doing content like this for free on LinkedIn Live every Tuesday. Tune in. Oh, that is not okay. I thought there was a little false positive connection there, but tune in every Tuesday to get better at your cold calling game. My whole promise to you is that we're going to be delivering really quality content. Colin will probably be back on the show, but he's not going to be here every week. We're going to have different guests come in and we're going to learn from different approaches as we go along. It's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, not everybody's going to hop on here and make calls for Hopp Consulting. So this is a very unique inaugural episode of Hop on Calls.
That's right. This is a unique episode. We're mostly going to be having me call either for myself or potentially for one of my clients. We'll see what happens as we go along. We'll make it interesting. And then whoever my guest is going to be dialing for their company. So should be some incredible learning moments. These CEOs, where are we? Oh, we're getting close to the half hour. Our connect rate might be a little lower here, but these CEOs are not picking up the phone. It'd be nice if they did, wouldn't it?
You want me to dial simultaneously with you here?
Let's do it. Hit it.
Make it a little more interesting.
Yeah, we got dials flying everywhere. Oh, hey, is this Davidson? Davidson, how you doing? Kevin with Hopp Consulting Group here. I know I'm calling out of the blue. We haven't met before. Did I catch you with a minute to have a conversation? He hung up. You know what we're going to do? What are we going to do, Colin?
Call him back.
Double tap, baby. Double tap. Double tap. You ready?
Let's go. Let's do it. Clearly, there was a bad connection.
Yeah. All right. Davidson did not pick up when I redialed. It's okay. My feelings are not hurt. But the way I've always taught that when you call back, and believe it or not, some people think that every time someone hangs up, they do it on purpose and that they're angry. You'll find if you double tap people who hang up on you, as long as they're not saying something right before they hang up, they just kind of cold hang up. If you call back, probably 40, 50, 60%, 50% of the time, they're genuinely like, oh yeah, sorry, didn't mean to hang up on you. What was this about again? And then you can get right back into the conversation. But to be clear, an important little little caveat there. Don't call people back who are angry and say, yeah, I'm not interested. Don't call me back. And then call them back. That's a bad idea.
There's a clear difference. There's a clear difference. If it's in the opener, sometimes you don't know, they could have a bad connection on their end, but you always blame it and say, you've been having a bad connection, right? So let's play that through, right? If it's a double tap, how would you open that back up?
The first thing you say is you mention the call. You say, hey, I'm sorry, we got disconnected. I've been having phone issues. Throw something out. Talk about the phone. Talk about the actual physical thing that just happened, not assuming, hey, I just called you and I know you're not interested, but can you please hear me out? Nothing about what you're calling about. Talk about the phone problems, because that humanizes you to them, right? Everybody has phone problems. And then they will either tell you, yeah,
everybody can relate to that. And you really have nothing to lose, because if they like heard what you said, it wasn't a bad connection, and they just didn't, have time or weren't interested, they won't pick up when you double tap. But if they do pick up when you double tap, chances are it was like a bad connection or something like that, and you have a good chance of having a conversation to maybe find out that they actually aren't interested with a good reason, and then you don't have to call them back, which is a win in itself. Or maybe it was just a bad connection and you can actually have a conversation.
That's right. And Chet chiming in here saying, are we talking about double tapping? Ooh, 99 problems and the phone ain't one for Chet. Good to know, Chet, that you don't have cold calling problems. A lot of people do. But if you get the sales doctor in your life, you don't have as many problems. That's for sure. Shout out, Chet.
Yeah, he's going to prescribe you daily cold calls for after breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
A prescription of cold calls with the side of cold email. Oh, come on. Give me a pickup here. Hey, hello. Is this Bane? Hey, Ben, this is Kevin with Hopp Consulting Group. Sounds like I caught you on the road. Are you driving right now? Okay. A lot of times when I call people and they're driving, they end up driving with their knees and it's unsafe. Are you hands-free, able to have a conversation, or? Okay. In that case, I'll reach out to you another day, Ben. Have a great rest of your day. Cheers. Okay, another scenario where I might handle this differently than other people, okay? Bane told me I'm expecting a call from another number, and I picked up your number, right? Some people would say, well, pitch what you do right then and there just to see if it makes any sense. I'm a huge fan of like, nope, I will call you again. Why? Because I have an entire structure and process and technology, best-in-class technology, to make this effortless to call him back tomorrow. I don't want to force the subject at all because I know I'm not going to get the most honest answer, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for real, honest conversations about your calling culture.
And folks that are typically doing that when they get somebody and they can clearly tell that they're busy, like maybe they hear kids in the background, maybe they're driving, maybe they're waiting for another call. They're people that unfortunately don't have good structure, process, and technology. And so they're not used to having a lot of conversations. So they're trying to maximize, and they feel it comes off as a little bit desperate and not confident because you're not used to having, multiple conversations in a 1 hour call block.
That's right. And that was me, right? Before I learned how to use technology and process, I would only have 1 or 2 conversations a day. And if you're only having 1 or 2 conversations a day, boy, it's brutal. Really, really hard to stay calm, cool, collected, and confident in what's going on,
Yeah, exactly.
Phone is ringing on my side. Are you dialing?
Yeah, I just clicked in.
Love it.
Hey, man, she hung up. So we're going to call back.
Double tap.
Of course.
We need to have a banner for double tap. We can fix that.
We need that t-shirt. What's your thoughts on the triple tap?
I'm actually not a triple tap guy, right? Hot take. I'm not in the business of annoying anybody. Not trying to annoy you.
The thing is too, what's your thoughts on this? Because I've seen some chat about this going around. The double tap when they don't pick up, call back. Because I guess supposedly, I haven't tested this, but I'm going to trust that the people that have been talking about it, I trust what they put out. This
Yeah.
device, when you have it on silent or do not disturb, if you call back that same number within I think, couple of minute period or something like that, I don't know the exact number, it'll ring through, even if they have it on silent.
No way. Like it's a setting on the iPhone?
Yeah. If it's on do not disturb and you call it back within like a minute, it's going to assume that it's something really important, which your cold call is. So definitely test that and let me know how it goes.
I don't know, man. I don't know. So, and the reason I don't know is I don't need to take the risk of annoying any one lead because my process is I've got 380 founders queued up with direct dial numbers right now, and I'm going to hit go and see.
And we already know that people are going to sometimes get a little bit pissy when you call their cell phone. Like that's just the nature of it, and that's fine. It's going to happen like maybe 1 out of every 20 where they're going to be like, "Where'd you get this number?" But it's still worth. I mean, you're not going to stop calling direct numbers. You're not going to stop calling cell phones because.
I'm sorry. This is Kevin with Hopp Consulting Group. Is this Devinder? Hi, Devinder. I know I'm calling you out of the blue here. I do apologize for that. Did I catch you with a second to have a quick conversation? Yeah, it's regarding work stuff. Are you working today or are you off? Okay. It's a good question, right? It's, late summer. Sometimes I've called somebody who's on the beach in Maui before, and they're like, "Oh, this is work," and they hang up on me right away. So I'm just clarifying there. Well, Devinder, thanks for giving me a minute here. I work directly with B2B SaaS companies to help them build a strong outbound sales calling culture inside of their sales organization using structure, process, and technology, right? Not in an outsourced function, helping you do it better inside. So I guess the question I have for you, do you think your sales organization has a strong calling culture today? Devinder? You don't know? Okay. So let me ask you a bit of an easier question, right? So does your company have sales reps that make outbound sales calls kind of similar to this one?
But not as good, of course.
Sure, I will give it to you straight. So my name's Kevin Hopp. I run my own company. It's called Hopp Consulting Group. I work with companies just like yours to help their outbound sales team perform better using structure, process, and technology. I'm a consultant. So I come in with a proven structure and process to help you get lots of net new customer conversations. That's what I do. Okay. Okay. Relationship-based sale. Right on. So I have worked, just so you know, I have worked with organizations that have a relationship-based sales process that takes a long time. And Devinder, the only reason they would ever choose to work with me is because they weren't getting enough net new conversations with potential relationships, right? So the actual sale is relationship-based. It might take 90 days, 120 days, up to 6 months even. But getting that top of funnel action where you say, okay, who can I sell to this month? Who do I have this relationship building motion going with? If you don't have enough of that top of funnel going, that's why you would call me or work with me. So is that a problem in your business right now, or is that something that you have handled? Okay, good. I'm happy that we had this conversation because I learned a bit about kind of how you guys are operating today as a sales org. Last question for you. Do you mind if I connect with you on LinkedIn and maybe I'll follow up in the new year? Awesome. Devinder, I will do that. You have a great rest of your day. Cheers. Dang. All right. So
that was close.
It was close. It was really close. But guess what? Like, I think that's like I'm calling that basically a warm follow-up of sorts, right? Now I say of sorts because Devinder, the CEO of this company, was able to get into it with me, and I learned a lot about what her sales organization is doing right now and the way they do their sale. And one of the classic objections that I get from people when they hear that I do cold calling, they're like, "Oh, I don't sell widgets. I don't do transactional sales. I don't need cold calling." Well, look, cold calling is just top of funnel, and you can open a long sales cycle with a top of funnel cold call just as effectively as you can get someone's credit card over a cold call and have a really super transactional sale. But a lot of orgs have this like kind of false mindset around like, okay, what I do is strategic. What you do is not strategic. Well, actually it is really, really strategic, but you got to have the right strategy, right? They're thinking of dialing for dollars. They're thinking of opening
They're thinking of boiler room.
Boiler room. Yeah.
What they've seen on TV, you know, they're thinking of like, you know, something like that. But I mean, it surprises me organizations that have never considered or just have never thought of cold calling as a way to generate business. It's like the fastest way to generate pipeline, like for real.
I mean,
it's the most efficient way. I mean, you know, paid ads are getting harder with all the privacy stuff, and you can spend a ton of money, or you can, you know, build a top of funnel team to just constantly, you know, fill the calendar and build pipelines. Blows my mind.
Well, so there's two things that I want to talk about there. One is the idea. I was just putting in my notes. Really important. Kixie allows you to put the notes in on the call. I hit save. It's directly saved to HubSpot. The integration that Kixie has with HubSpot is ridiculous. If you have HubSpot and you're not looking into Kixie, I don't know what you're doing, but check it out, everybody. The comment I wanted to make on that, Colin, is outbound calling is expensive if you do it the right way, right? So I don't think outbound calling is right for every org in every single situation. Like, you got to have either the velocity or the high ticket item that you're selling at the end, right? In order to make outbound calling done right work, right? So what do I mean by done right? Well, you could always go get a dialer that costs, you know, less than $100 a month or something. And then you always go buy
Jessica
for pennies. Ooh, here we go.
I'm going to double
check. She didn't pick
that.
up?
No. That was it.
So,
I thought she did.
So you can always go really cheap on this stuff, but you're not going to have the efficiency. The efficiency is what you should be after, because there's actually a whole play. And part of what I talk about with my clients is the idea of building a sales development job that people don't quit, that they don't hate, because they're actually having conversations with people all the time.
That's an important piece. Yeah. I mean, that's
so important.
That's a piece that I think most people don't really consider. It's like the people that don't want to invest in the tech or invest in hiring, you know, professional help to come in and build a good calling culture. They're going to think that, you know, outbound doesn't work or cold calling doesn't work because they're going to have constant turnover because they're putting people in jobs that they hate doing.
That's right. That's right. To Chet's point here, everybody wants to write the perfect email, but won't take the time to master a decent cold call. And why is that? Got to dive a little bit into human psychology and the idea of, you know, your ego is on the line. Someone can hang up on you, and that might feel a little vulnerable. That might feel a little scary. That might make you feel bad if you don't know how to detach yourself from the fact that you were an interruption and they weren't ready to talk and they hang up on you. If you send that email and they don't reply, what do you learn? That they didn't reply to your email. That's all you learn, right? So you learn so much more. No feedback whatsoever. I'm going to hit go on my dialer, by the way.
Go for it. The thing is you can actually, for those folks that are email folks, right? You can actually, to Kevin's point there, you can learn a lot by picking up the phone, making some calls, getting some feedback, and then really fine tuning that messaging that maybe does work better in email as well, right? So when you don't get a reply, you're not getting any feedback. But when you're having conversations, you can see what works, what doesn't, how people respond, what questions come up, things like that. Like that last conversation that Kevin had, where he was able to learn a lot about that company. If he would have just sent them an email, he wouldn't have learned anything.
Is my
You were on mute for a second, but I can hear you now.
Is my video slow? My laptop's like having a moment here, which is annoying.
Seems fine on my end.
Okay, cool. Hopefully. All right. You in the queue? I want to hear you get one, man.
Yeah, I'm dialing right now.
Awesome. Okay. And I am going to dial as well.
You got any comments in the live here?
Got a lot of good comments. Jasper from Kixie, who's my guy over at Kixie, is pointing out the HubSpot workflows integration. I've never seen. I've obviously used a lot of tools. I've never seen a tool that integrates as well with HubSpot. So Kixie is like the ultimate HubSpot solution, and no surprise, Hopp Consulting Group uses HubSpot. That's my backbone, my CRM.
Hey, Brian, this is Colin over at Hopp Consulting. We've actually never spoke before, but do you have like half a minute and I can tell you exactly why I'm reaching out to you? Yeah, so what we do is we work with B2B companies, helping them establish a strong calling culture inside their sales organization by leveraging structure, process, and technology. And I'm just curious if your sales organization has a strong calling culture. Yeah, that's a popular answer that I get a lot. So, um, it's actually rare that people have process, structure, and technology all figured out. And I know I'm calling you a bit out of the blue here, but would you be open to setting up a time, say next week, to kind of dig into some of the things that we see working in spaces like yours, working with clients like yourself, in building a strong calling culture that's performing at a high level, where the people making the calls actually enjoy their job? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have you as the CEO co-founder. Is there somebody else that would be better to have this conversation?
It should be.
Yeah. Maybe I have some outdated records here. Have you changed jobs recently, or? Got it. Yeah. No. Well, thanks so much for your time. Looks like I got some bad information here. Have a good rest of the day.
Look, all we can do is lean on what we do know. What happened there, Colin?
Just like, sometimes this happens occasionally, um, especially when you're calling mobile numbers. Like, you just get somebody has the same first last name, but it's just not the right person.
Ooh, I've had that happen so many times that I just wonder. I'm like, how many Colin Mitchells are out there? because if you make enough outbound calls, like guys like you and I make a lot of outbound calls, like you run into people who are like exactly the same name, first, last, same spelling, same way to say it, and you're like, what? You're not the right person? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
All right, you're up.
I'm in the queue. It's rolling. It is rolling on my side.
I'm gonna dial at the same time. We'll just see.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We got 15 minutes or so left.
It's like dueling pianos, but it's a dueling dialers. Maybe we should make a graphic that's like two phones, like going like, you know.
Hey Rick, this is Colin over at Hopp Consulting Group. We've actually never spoken before, but do you have about a half a minute to have a quick conversation? Yeah, so the reason I'm calling is we work with B2B companies, helping them establish a strong call culture inside their sales organization by leveraging structure, process, and technology. And I was just curious, does your sales organization have a strong calling culture? Yeah. Got it. And do you have a sales team that makes outbound sales calls? Got it. And anybody else other than yourself? Got it. And are you looking to add any new people soon to your division? Got it. All right. Well, hey, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye.
No dice.
Not a good fit. But I'm finally getting a little more comfortable with your script. So, it takes some warm up.
Look, it's the world's greatest script. So once you get used to it, you'll be set. What are your thoughts on the fact that more and more people are using RoboKiller and other things to stop unwanted phone calls?
Well, you should have technology in place where you're not calling from the same number all the time. Your technology provider, should be providing good numbers that are going to get flagged as spam. There's a lot of changes that have happened with as far as like, stir shaking and stuff like that, as far as like displaying your numbers and who's calling from those numbers. So if you're using a number that's, always be testing, making sure you're using good, healthy numbers, and you may need to swap them out.
That's right. Getting good numbers that ring through is really important, that don't show up as spam likely. But the other thing, like I feel as if, telemarketing, which is not what we do. It's not what I do, by the way. I think that's kind of a gross term. Telemarketers have kind of, I thought that was a connect. It was not a connect. Telemarketers have like turned people into, if I don't know who the number calling is, it's not valuable. Like, and there are applications that just like don't, like there's a setting in the iPhone where you can like never get a cold call. The only people that can call your phone are people that are in your address book. So that is, hey Brian, how you doing? Kevin with Hopp Consulting Group here. Yeah, Brian, I run my own company. It's called Hopp Consulting Group. I know I'm calling you out of the blue, but I catch you with a minute and I'll explain exactly why I called. Oh. Okay, cool. I work with B2B SaaS companies, a lot of them actually in the security space, to help them establish a strong calling culture inside of their sales organization by leveraging my proprietary structure, process, and of course, the right technology. Brian, I'm curious, does your sales organization have a strong calling culture today? Okay. And is outbound going to be an initiative probably in 2023, or are you going to ride this referral wave for indefinitely here? Look, I don't blame you. I had this conversation with a colleague the other day around there's nothing that can ever replace referrals. But Brian, do you mind if we connect on LinkedIn and maybe when the time does come that you're not getting the flow of referrals that you used to get, it might be time to have a good conversation then. Awesome. All right, Brian. Have a great rest of your day. Cheers. Okay, so Brian, his company does not do outbound calling. They don't do outbound.
I like how you asked that question, the referral wave. It's like, how big? I mean, and it just depends. Like, some people don't want a big business, and the referral wave is enough to feed their appetite.
Well, there's the way I look at that, Colin, there's two ways to look at it, right? Like, number one, he said he's busy too. He's like, so we're so busy with referrals that we don't have time for outbound. What I'm going to propose to him costs money. So I don't want to set a meeting if he doesn't have at least like the desire for the valuable outcome or a business problem. If he doesn't have either of those, I'm like, cool, Brian, I don't want to talk to you because I can bully you into a meeting by telling you how important outbound should be. But when I'm going to ask you to pay, 5 to 6 figures for a contract, if it's not a problem for you and you got referrals, I'm not going to do that. It makes no logical sense, right? Like, what's your take?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not about booking a ton of meetings. It's about booking the right meetings.
Out booking the right meetings. Dang. I got to make a bumper sticker with that and put it on.
I mean, we're just coming up with all kinds of, we already got to get the double tap t-shirt. Might as well make that one too. Why not?
And by the way, just so everyone knows, all of the t-shirts that Hopp Consulting Group is associated with are going to be tri-blend. This t-shirt right here with Bill Murray.
Hey, Gary, this is Colin over at Hopp Consulting. We've actually never spoken before, but do you have like half a minute and I can tell you exactly why I'm reaching out? Sure. Yeah. My name's Colin with Hopp Consulting, and what we do is we work with B2B companies like yourself to help them establish a strong calling culture inside their sales organization by leveraging. That's a good problem to have. What's your secret sauce? Uh-huh. Got it. Well, sounds like that's working for you. Thanks so much for your time and have a great rest of the day. All right. Take care. Interesting. He had the same problem as the last guy you called. I mean, I don't know if they've all just gotten together and said, hey, let's tell people to cold call. We have more business than we can handle.
Look, if that's the case, like,
but I tested him a little bit because I said, hey, what's your secret sauce? And I wanted to see if he'd give me a real answer. And he did. And if he was like, well, I just, then I'd be like, okay, you're just trying to get me off the phone. Right. So, when you ask, a lot of times people try to ask questions just to like keep the conversation going, but like have a good reason for asking the question you're asking to try to drive the conversation in the direction that you want it to go. And, without saying, hey, are you full of, what? I was trying to ask him a question to see if I thought he was.
That makes a lot of sense. As Chet puts it here in the comments, poking the bear, always having a little bit of a challenge. But to your point, Colin, challenging with a reason, with perspective. There's a reason for the challenge. I love that. I'm jumping back into the queue here. We've got 6 minutes left on our inaugural live here. And I would love to get 2 meetings booked. Wouldn't that be good? 2 is better than 1. But let's see what happens. A
lot can happen in 6 minutes, especially when you have good technology.
That's right. One of the things that not a connect. One of the things that just needs to be pointed out is how many conversations have we had? We'll add it up at the end, but I think we've had 15 plus conversations here. 12, 15 conversations in less than an hour's time.
Yeah. How many have you had on? Hey, Gretchen, this is Colin over at Hopp Consulting. We've actually never spoken before. To be frank, this is a cold call. But do you have like half a minute and I can tell you exactly why I'm calling you? Double tap.
Double tap. Come on.
Hey, Gretchen,
Come on.
this is Colin over at Hopp Consulting. I think we got disconnected there. I've been having issues all day. Got it. Okay, no problem. Try you back at a better time.
I like it. So she did mean to hang up on you.
She did mean to hang up on me. She said I'm at lunch. I can't talk right now. It's like,
which is an interesting objection. Like I hear that. I hear it all the time. People say they're like, I'm at lunch. I can't talk right now. It's like, okay, so let me call you back while you're in a meeting.
yeah.
Maybe now is the time to have a quick conversation and just figure out if it's like good. But maybe she's got like what is she eating for lunch? Is it like the world's best chopped salad?
I mean, that's the question I would have asked, but she was like real hot and bothered that I interrupted her lunch. Or I would have honestly said, "What are you having for lunch?" and just tried to get her out of that zone of resistance of like, "Oh, why are you cold calling me at my lunch?" You know.
How dare you?
But she didn't seem like she was in the mood. Like some people, the right people, you ask that question to just kind of like bring the barriers down a little bit, you'll actually get into a good conversation.
That is the hope. That is the hope.
What are you having for lunch?
What are you having for lunch? And then, some of these orgs, I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this right now, I'm in the queue, by the way. A lot of these people who are watching right now, you probably have access to Sendoso or a similar tool. Shout out to Postal.io, Sendoso, all these sending tools that actually make it really easy to like send people stuff. I am not an advocate in any way, shape, or form of sending people stuff like randomly. But what if you're on the phone with someone, they say they're at lunch and say, cool, can I buy you lunch tomorrow? I'm going to send you an Uber Eats gift card right now. But the catch is we have to talk. What about that idea?
I don't hate that idea, but I also don't love it.
Why not? You wouldn't buy
I don't know.
lunch
I don't know if you've ever gotten some of that spammy, emails and LinkedIn DMs where it's like, hey, come sit on a demo and we'll give you $50. And it's like, I don't know who came up with that strategy, but it's literally got to be the worst idea ever. And it needs to be shot behind the barn. I'm all for gifting. I'm all for gifting. Postal, Sendoso. Hey, Nas, this is Colin over at Hopp Consulting. We've actually never spoken before, but do you have like half a minute and I can tell you exactly why I'm reaching out to you? Yeah, no problem. What we do is we work directly with B2B companies, helping them establish a strong calling culture inside their sales organization by leveraging structure, process, and technology. And I was just curious if your sales organization has a strong calling culture. Yeah, so you do have a team. Do they make calls? Got it. Are you looking to build a sales team in the near future? Okay, well, sounds like it wouldn't be a good fit then. Hey, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
There you go. You got to the bottom of it.
Dude, I'm slaying this script now. It's just they just don't have problems to solve.
Yeah, we got 1 minute left, and I'm gonna get one live right here. Come on, pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. Come on, I'm ready. No, that's not what I wanted. Are you a fan of the buzzer beater? I'm gonna hit a buzzer beater right now. That's the idea.
Go for it.
Kate Chambers mentioning pumping up those MQLs out there. That's what a lot of marketing managers do with the sending stuff. We love marketing though. What's better at empowering a sales team than a strong marketing team? I'll answer that question. The answer is nothing. A sales and a marketing organization that operate in tandem are going to dominate. Okay. If you wonder what makes the difference between a SaaS company that hits multiples and hits their series A, B, C, D, and has great exits, and those that don't, is sales and marketing alignment. that starts at the very, very tippy top. Your CMO and your VP of sales or CRO need to be friends, and they need to go to lunch at least every other week together.
You mean they shouldn't be picking fights and pointing fingers?
They should not be picking fights. I'm going to do one more buzzer beater here. Come on, get me in the queue. Come on. They're 3 CEO and founders. They want to talk. They just got out of their meeting. They got out of their meeting from 10 to 11 Pacific, and now they're Ben. How you doing? Kevin with Hopp Consulting Group here. Yeah. We never met before. I am calling you out of the blue. I apologize. My name's Kevin Hopp. I run my own company. It's called Hopp Consulting Group. Did I catch you with a minute? And I'll tell you exactly why I called. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'll do that. Awesome, Ben. Have a great day. Oh, not a good time, says Ben. Not a good time. And he said, if you email me, I promise I will respond, is what he said. Those were his
Email
words.
him now and call him back.
Well, he was like,
I mean,
he ended it. You know how you can't overcome the objection is when he literally said it this way. He said, yeah, it's not a good time. Email me. I promise I'll respond. Bye. He said it all in like 2 seconds. That's why I was
he's a
Get a
professional.
word in
He's
edgewise.
a professional.
Look,
at dodging conversations.
CEOs should be good at this, right? They should be good at being able to.
I mean, you're calling one of the hardest
quickly.
segments of people to call. So, these folks are busier than most. But, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but with Kixie, you can just bam, disposition, send that email, and then schedule that follow-up. Because a lot of times people don't do what they say they're going to do. It's like, yeah, send me an email. And then the follow-up comes and it's like, yo, I still didn't get that email.
That's right.
And then and so now if you take good notes and you're like, hey, ask us an email, call back. You can recapture that conversation where it left off. So it's not totally cold. That's where most of the magic is going to happen is those follow-ups. So creating follow-ups in your cold call block is one of the most important things. And everybody wants to think like booking meetings. Yes, we're all trying to book meetings, but we're trying to have conversations. We're trying to create follow-ups. We're trying to refine the list. We're trying to follow up process.
That's right. Well, we have to end for the day.
How many conversations did you have?
I have on my notes that I had 9 live conversations and I set 1 meeting.
I have 15 conversations. Unfortunately, no meetings, but maybe next time.
So I didn't count the false positive connections. If he counts false positives are when it connects you, but then they hang up really quickly and the double tap doesn't work. So Either way, that was a lot of productivity in a short period of time. Everybody tune in live next Tuesday. I'm actually going to have Junior Lardy from Pickle. He's coming on. It's going to be really fun. Create an event for that. I'm going to invite everybody who is here to that one as well. We're going to
definitely going to show up for that one. And then, make sure you check out Hop on Calls next week on the podcast to hear the other side of the conversation, which is what everybody wants to hear. Obviously, all the personal information won't be there, but you'll get to see what's happening on those conversations and how Kevin's navigating through those calls. So check out Hop on Calls podcast, which will be premiering next week.
That's right. Podcast come out next week. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your workday. Colin, thank you so much for being here, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Virtual fist bump.